For Miami, Chalmers and D. Wade are the guards. And playing at the 5, the always versatile 6'11" star big man, able to score inside and out, Chris Bosh. And it's LeBron James, and it's Haslam in at the power forward position.
You know, I thought San Antonio really was an outstanding team. Fun to watch, excellent at both ends of the floor. But one statistical thing that stood out was they defended at a high level without committing a lot of fouls. That takes discipline and smarts.
And it's going to be the Spurs off the tip. Green kicks to Parker. Back to Green. And out of bounds as the Heat gain possession. Clark, as you said about that Spurs team, just a team that does not foul very often. Doesn't give away free points. And Steve, they led the league in fewest fouls last season.
Well, that's part of Greg Popovich's mantra. Don't give up anything easy. You can't guard a free throw, obviously. You can't guard a fast break. So important for the Spurs to avoid fouls and take care of the basketball and be efficient offensively, and that helps their D.
Duncan gets the screen from Splitter. Here's Parker. The finger roll finish at the bucket.
And there's the first bucket of the game.
Yeah, that's a nice tone setter out of the gate.
And so here is Miami. Now the pass to Chalmers. The dish to Haslam. Some nice ball movement here by the Heat. And Parker with a clear path to the hoop. That's good.
Beautiful finger roll to cap that drive off. He knows how to finish with some flair and flavor, guys. You know, the more you watch Kawhi Leonard play, the more you realize that he is the perfect fit for the Spurs. I mean, he just looks like a Spur, and he's only been in the league a couple of years. Plays great defense, shoots from deep at a high rate, and really knows, accepts, and embraces his role on the team.
Parker kicks to Green. Pass to Duncan. Back to Green. First quarter, just over a minute played. Feeds it to LeBron. He kicks it to Haslam. It's stolen by Duncan. Parker drives in. Another one falls for San Antonio. And back to Kawhi Leonard. Coach Popovich sees him as their defensive stopper on the wing. But not just that, he thinks he's going to be a star in so many ways.
Well, he could become the face of the franchise, Kevin, if you think about it, once Tim Duncan and Walker and Ginobili move on. But, you know, Popovich, not one prone to hyperbole, but he absolutely loves this kid.
Now, here's Chalmers. From deep, and Parker with the block. But they'll get another chance. Here's Haslam. Busts the J after the cagey pass fake.
He can squeeze himself into the box score every now and then.
Outside Leonard. Now the feed to Splitter. Lots of room. Here's Duncan. Uses the glass to finish the layup.
And they're nearly perfect from the floor early on. 4 of their first 5 shots they've drained.
Heat have gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
I got to find something, you're right. All sorts of time. And it's Wade with the rebound.
Nobody anywhere close to him. Where's the defense? He's got to make that shot, though.
And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
17 seconds on the shot clock. 17.
And a little over 2.5 minutes gone here in the first.
You know, one of the things about the Heat since the Big Three has come together is that they've been able to find the right kinds of veteran players to step in and fill specific roles for this team as they've won a couple of championships now.
Leonard sets a screen for Parker. Terrific design on the big play, and he lays it in. Parker's got 8 points. And it's easy to have players want to join the Heat when they're competing for an NBA title every season. But, Steve, even then, they find the ones that most fit their offensive and defensive philosophy, and that's when they're going to come up big for them.
Yeah, for sure. This team has done such a good job putting together this roster around LeBron and Wade. You think about Birdman in the playoffs last year, Battier coming in here as a stretch four. They've just found the right players and the right mix, and that's one of the big reasons why this team is back-to-back NBA champs.
Shane Battier is checked in for Miami. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Kevin, I was able to speak with Eric Spoelstra for a moment. I asked him about how his team was going to handle the veterans of the Spurs, and he said there really isn't a whole lot that Duncan and them haven't seen, so you can't surprise them one way or another. Really, it comes down to us being as careful with the ball as they are and being efficient in our possessions. Sounds simple enough, gentlemen.
Thank you, Doris.
Coach Popovich was fine last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and it was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, look, I think it's good for him to actually, kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Daniel Green. And we're just over 3.5 minutes into the first quarter. Here's Wade. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
And as he has gained more experience in the league, Wade has taught himself to rely a bit more on his jump shot and a little less on attacking the rim. But still, you see his confidence really lies in his ability to attack the lane.
The Spurs making a switch here. Honors checked in.
Yeah, and he's one player who doesn't need a lot of space to get to the basket. He's really crafty. The way he can blast his way straight through traffic is really strong.
And also, he's one of those guys who can cover 94 feet in the blink of an eye and often does, with or without help on the break.
Bellinelli, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. Bellinelli passes to Parker. He feeds it to Bellinelli. Passes it to Bonner. Wide open look. No luck. And Miami the other way now. And Wade, still a player who thrives on getting in the lane. Clark, and for his career, under 30% from long range.
Yeah, his jump shot is more of a mid-range weapon, quite honestly. He loves the bank shot, loves the floaters, and is always looking to get somebody in the air with that pump fake. And usually, more times than not, guys bite and he gets free throws.
He gets to the line, you're right.
Boy, with an open look like that, he is so gifted. Man, you've got to play better defense. Eventually, he's going to make you pay.
You got that right. I mean, he'll do it from three-point land or anywhere on the perimeter, really, because he is a deadly shooter. You've got to do a better job defensively.
Now here's Parker. After the miss from Hazard. Ginobili, that's for two. And it's good on the assist by Parker.
They've had assists now on their last 3 baskets.
And it's not just their passing, but their cutting, their movement together as a unit that's led to that.
And that'll be Miami as it goes out of bounds. The Heat retain possession. unable to get the ball in bounds. They get called for the 5-second violation.
With the number of turnovers they've committed, it's no wonder they're in the position they're in right now.
Yeah, but it's still early, guys. They just need to be a little more disciplined at that end of the floor.
Now here's Parker. He's got 10. There's Ginobili. And it's Haslam with the rebound.
I'll tell you what, the mid-range shot is not the easiest one to make, but when you've got daylight like he had there, I mean, those are shots you want to make.
A different look for Miami. Chris Anderson is checked in for Bosch. Allen comes in for Udonis Haslem. And it's Norris Cole in for Mario Chalmers. About 7 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Kicks to Bellinelli. Ginobili outside. Latre. Ginobili can't get that one to fall. The Heat trail by 12. Cole dishes to Allen. Diaw with the steal. Pass to Parker. Feeds to Diaw. Again, the miss by the Spurs. Deep two from Anderson. He got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. And as the first quarter wraps up, already at double-digit. Welcome back, everyone, to lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the second quarter. And breaking down some numbers here, the hustle stats for the Spurs.
They've come out in attack mode defensively, applying pressure and stealing the ball repeatedly.
You know, another factor in their offense so far has been their ability to convert and score off turnovers. You know, a big part of why the Spurs were so good last season, guys, was that they were able to finish games strong. You think a group of vets might run out of gas, but the opposite was true with this group. They turned it up down the stretch and were one of the most productive teams in the league in terms of fourth quarter points.
And a chance here to catch up with the fourth member of our crew, Doris Burke. Hi, Doris.
Hi, guys. There was a time when Chris Bosh wasn't sure how he'd play at center. He tried to bulk up and change his approach. But he said, quote, after about 3 years, I said, forget it and just be myself. I'm never going to be big and just bulky like that. Now he says, quote, I know it's unorthodox, but I'm not going to waste my time trying to bang in the post against bigger guys. I'm just going to be all over the court. And because of that, I think I've become a much better player. Kevin?
Not the biggest guy, but boy, he is quick, Doris. I think that's one of his advantages. Well, Clark, a big part of why the Spurs were so good last year in the fourth was because they had so many options when possessions, Steve, start getting critical and the game is tight.
Well, no question. You got Parker to create off the dribble. You can always throw it into the low post to Duncan. But on top of that, you've got a roster full of guys who understand how to play the game and know how to play each other. Just the experience that this group has gained together over the years, I think allows them to execute under pressure.
The Heat making a switch here. Wade's checked in.
You know, part of being a championship team is having the talent first and foremost, but then managing the minutes of that talent. The Heat, I thought, did a nice job monitoring the minutes of the big three throughout the season and playoffs last year.
Well, as you said, Clark, the big three in their prime, but really, you want them to just get their work in during the season, not exhaust themselves before they make it to the playoffs.
I thought, Kevin, along those lines, I thought by the end of last season, Miami was exhausted. And once you try to win a third title in a row, the emotional fatigue and exhaustion really becomes a factor. So this is going to be interesting to watch all year.
The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And look at the research. There is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued because injuries are more likely if you play tired.
Here's Cole, covered by Parker. And it's Cole missing. Spurs leading by 16. He dishes it to Bach. Back to Ginobili. The pass to Bellinelli. Back to Ginobili. Some solid defense from Bosch. And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their 4th game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. And that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
Splitter is checked in for San Antonio. Parker outside. Ginobili. Down low. Off his foot. And it's being called a kickball. Now Bellinelli. Splitter kicks to Duncan. And he makes good on the layup. And the Spurs lead by 18.
Boy, they keep hammering away at him inside, forcing that ball into the paint. Smash mouth basketball.
Yeah, and it's a strategy that has served them well in this opening half, Clark.
And the Heat call time here. The Heat trail by 18. LeBron with it. He hasn't yet put up any points in this one.
Boneheaded play, guys. Plain and simple.
Yep, brain fade is what I like to call it. There's no way they're getting out of the hole making mistakes like that.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Well, as you know, gentlemen, Greg Popovich is one of the foremost practitioners of the intentional fouling that sends poor free throw shooters to the line. Not exactly a fan favorite, and Pop says, quote, "I think it's ugly. I think it's awful. But it's legal. It's there. If somebody doesn't want to get hacked, they should shoot free throws better." Guys, he's all about winning. Whether it's pretty or ugly, he doesn't care.
They wear you down, Doris. Thank you so much. Now here's Parker after the miss from Tim Duncan. It's going to be a goaltending call here, so they'll count the bucket.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They keep getting in the paint and keep scoring points. Keep it going.
Yeah, not a lot you can do defensively when they continue to get the ball inside and get these easy shots.
Allen inside the three-point line. And it's Anderson that time on the assist by Allen. San Antonio leading by 18.
Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball. Two teams that like to play up-tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were one play away from wrapping it up in Game 6, but the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat. Terrific defense at the rim. They got right in his path.
You know, that's part of what great defenders do. They get not only in your path, but in your head a little bit, too.
Now here's Parker. He's got 10. Splitter kicks to Bellinelli. Spurs passing it around. 5 to shoot. Gets it to go. And it's 7 points for Manu Ginobili. Clark, it was interesting because the games themselves weren't particularly close through the first half of the series, but things started to get really tight when they left San Antonio after Game 5.
How about that, Kevin? You talk about things tightening up. We had a game for the ages in Game 6. 28.6 seconds to go. The Spurs +5. Miami needed a miracle, and they found it in the form of timely three-point shooting and got some help from the San Antonio Spurs missing some free throws.
The Game 6 was about as intense an NBA game as you'll ever see.
Oh, it was off the charts. Absolutely fantastic.
One of the great shooters in the history of the game. I mean, Ray Allen is just amazing with that deep range, incredible accuracy. And then he can also put the ball on the deck a little bit once or twice, pull up jump shots, get to the foul line. Allen's just one of the most consistent scorers we've had in the game for a long time.
And he's rehearsed that motion for so long. It's automatic. I mean, it's something he can do in his sleep. He doesn't even think about the situation or the defender. He eyes his target and lets it fly.
Here's Cole. And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession. The Spurs making a switch here. Green's checked in. Spurs leading by 19 points. Parker outside. He passes to Bellinelli. Dishes it to Green. And misses it off the right side of the rim.
You know, Miami went to that smaller lineup last season, and a big change in that was having Chris Bosh move over to the 5 spot. Not his natural position, but I thought he held his own both offensively and defensively playing in the middle.
Now Parker following the miss by Chris Bosh from deep. Green left side. And it's good on the assist by Parker. Parker's got his 4th assist in this one. There's the steal. Leads him in there. Bellinelli. Rebounded by Battier. And for Bosh, playing the center, Steve, he's giving up some weight out there.
But he's a very smart defender. He avoids fouls. And you know, the way the league is these days, Kevin, most teams play smaller. And Bosh can normally find a center that he can guard without too much trouble. But there are a few matchups around the league that are a problem.
Well, they got the speed and the pressure of that Miami defense. You think they're able to compensate for any lack of size inside by using those other things?
Yeah, that's normally the case against, I would say, the vast majority of the league.
The easiest way to do it sometimes is with the bounce pass.
Dwayne Wade's checked in for Norris Court. The Spurs have gone 2 for 2 in the game at the line.
Guys, you go back to the shortened season a year before last, and the Spurs were the best team on the road. But last year, they weren't nearly as dominant on the road. Still solid when leaving San Antonio, but far from the level they played at a couple of seasons ago.
And out of bounds as the Spurs gain possession.
That's a poor possession. To just give away the ball with a sloppy pass.
Splitter is checked in for San Antonio. Parker comes in for Marco Bellinelli. Parker passes to Green. Back to Parker. All alone. Nice jump shot. Good. Parker's got 12. Now Battier. No scoring yet from him, but that's likely to change. No good from Bosh. Throws it from deep. No good. And so a pretty lopsided game through the first half. It's San Antonio running away with this one.
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Damon Bruce here. Welcome to halftime. So far, a lopsided game out at American Airlines Arena. A tremendous start for the Spurs. A dramatic advantage in the paint. They're getting right in close and converting the kind of buckets they want.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And from high above, a view of downtown Miami and the American Airlines Arena. Welcome back.